Wraith of Injustice by Sarah J. Nilsson. This is the true story surrounding the death of Heidi Sue Dowland, born November 18, 1980, and tragically killed in a plane crash on January 13, 2019. Wraith of Injustice portrays the haunting and destructive consequences of injustice in the aftermath of the death of Heidi Sue Dowland. A wraith is a ghost that persists. Episode 2: Plane Crash in Hualapai. January 13, 2019. It was the morning after Chuck's surprise 70th birthday party at Fisherman's Landing Bar in Meadview. The day before, Heidi and Anderson had flown in from Prescott for the festivities and had partied till 1:30 in the morning. At approximately 8:30 a.m. on Sunday, January 13, Heidi texted her sister Hannah to let her know they were at Pierce Ferry Airport in Meadview by the plane, preparing to take off. Shortly thereafter, Hannah received another text from Heidi stating they were wheels up. Anderson's plan was to first fly 50 miles south to Kingman, IGM, for fuel, as there were no fuel services at Pierce Ferry Airport, as it was just a dirt strip. The weather that morning in Kingman was perfect. Clear skies with a slight breeze of 4 knots. This was taken from the METAR, the Meteorological Aerodrome Report that pilots use for pre-flight planning. At 10:38 a.m., Heidi called one of her sons. She was on the ground in Kingman. She stated they had either gotten or attempted to get fuel. This part is fuzzy. Their plan was to make their way to Glendale Airport, GEU, 132 miles southeast of Kingman. Hannah and their mum, Sue Ellen, were at Glendale Airport by 11:30 a.m. that morning, waiting to pick up Heidi and Anderson. When 12:15 rolled around and their plane had not yet arrived, Hannah anxiously began making phone calls. It wasn't long thereafter that Hannah was contacted by Anderson's stepdaughter. Sometime around 10:45 Mountain Standard Time, about 10 miles south of Kingman, in the Hualapai Mountain Park, the plane had impacted trees and was substantially damaged. It came to rest inverted atop manzanita bushes in a ravine bordered by ponderosa pine. There was no post-crash fire. Anderson, the non-certificated student pilot, was seriously injured but survived. Heidi, the passenger he should never have been carrying in the first place, was killed in the crash. Anderson crawled from the wreckage to the road, flagged down a passerby, who in turn called 911. Responding agencies included the Mojave County Sheriff's Department and Mojave County Public Works, the Parks Division. Due to the accident occurring on January 13, 2019, which was during the U.S. government sequestration, no NTSB, FAA, Piper, or Lycoming personnel responded to the accident site. When the 911 call came in, Greg, a volunteer for the Pine Lake Fire District, was standing outside his residence with another first responder about 1 mile from the accident location. He arrived on scene 2 minutes later to find Anderson in the road, being attended by 2 retired RNs who were passing by. By this time, it's 11:45 a.m. Also on scene was Detective Robert McEwen, Mojave County Sheriff's Office. He told the NTSB that Anderson had reported to the first responders that the airplane experienced an electrical failure and that he tried to turn around, however the engine lost power. This happened just 10 minutes after takeoff from Kingman Airport. Anderson was transported to a local hospital and later moved to a larger one in Las Vegas, Nevada. Later that evening, on January 13, 2019, Air Transport came to recover the wreckage and took it to their facility in Phoenix, Arizona. Mojave County Hualapai Park Ranger Mr. Gina Mejia noted they only called for fire protection as a preemptive measure during the wreckage recovery, in case the recovery activities resulted in an ignition or fire. He noted that if there had been fuel at the crash scene, they would have requested fire equipment and personnel earlier in the day. The wreckage remained at Air Transport till September 24 of 2019, 8 months, when it was finally examined in detail by FAA, Lycoming, and Piper investigators. Here are their findings. Almost all the airplane components remained attached to the wreckage. You'll note the wings were removed for ease of transport. The propeller damage signatures were consistent with a complete lack of engine power at impact. Examination of the airframe, engine, and propeller revealed no evidence of any pre-impact mechanical malfunctions or failures that would have precluded normal operation. The NTSB noted that the right wing and empennage, Heidi's side of the plane, were severely crushed and deformed, whereas the fuselage and left wing were moderately crushed or deformed. The airplane was equipped with 2 separate fuel tanks, one in each wing. Each tank had a dedicated filler neck with a removable cap. Neither cap was found at the accident site or in the recovered wreckage. There was no evidence of the caps being installed at impact. In the post-crash investigation, when a donor fuel cap was installed on the 2 filler necks, it rotated smoothly and locked into place. In the post-crash investigation, the NTSB did not recover any fuel from the aircraft. No fuel was noted in the fuel selector or adjacent lines, and no evidence of any fuel leaks was found. First responders did not note the presence of any fuel on scene either. The NTSB investigation was unable to determine whether Anderson actually obtained fuel at Kingman Airport. The NTSB noted that the wreckage evidence was consistent with a loss of engine power due to fuel exhaustion. The absence of the fuel caps likely resulted in the fuel being siphoned overboard during flight. They concluded that when Anderson stopped at Kingman Airport to obtain fuel, he did not put the fuel caps back on the airplane. Therefore, the NTSB determined the probable cause of the accident to be the student pilot's failure to secure the fuel caps, which led to the fuel being siphoned overboard, fuel exhaustion, and the total loss of engine power. Anderson was hospitalized for several days. A review of the pilot's post-accident hospital records revealed that he had diabetes and used an insulin pump. This was corroborated by a review of his previous medical records. The NTSB was unable to gather sufficient evidence to determine whether Anderson was impaired due to diabetic complications at the time of the accident. The NTSB made several attempts to obtain a statement from Anderson, but he refused to cooperate with the investigation. Anderson's initial post-accident lab testing detected blood glucose levels that were greater than twice the normal maximum. EMS assessed them to be 358 milligrams per deciliter. Hospital records indicated that a blood test was negative for ethanol. This was published 2.5 hours after the accident. A urine drug screen was negative for all other screened drugs. Following Heidi's death, her daughter, Maya, set up a Celebration of Life GoFundMe.com page with a goal of raising $10,000 for her funeral. She ended up raising a little over 13. The grieving teen, Maya, said that sunset was her mother's favorite color. The vibrancy of a sunset was how Heidi lived her life. Her work colleague Amy Wilson posted this to social media in the week following Heidi's death. The Mojave Valley Daily News ran a feature in tribute on the front page on January 16, 2019. On January 26, 2019, at 3 p.m. in Prescott, family and friends gathered in celebration of Heidi's short but beautiful life. Heidi had a zest for life that was infectious. Her smile and bright spirit lit up any room. She never met a stranger and had a way of making everyone feel like her best friend. Her daughter Maya said, "She made us all want to be a better person." She lived her life out loud with no regrets, always laughing, always loving, and always willing to give Sir Mix-a-Lot a run for his money. Stay tuned for episode 3 and find out more about this person, Christopher Adam Anderson, who for 5 years disregarded FAA regulations, endangering all of us who use the airspace, lied to the FAA about his health, and ultimately caused the death of a beautiful soul who walked this earth for a brief time, going by the name of Heidi Sue Dowland.